All right, so before I introduce our keynote speaker, I need to tell you that some of the students have already had the opportunity to interact with him this year. He brings major energy in everything that he does, and I'm so excited for him to speak to you guys this evening. Our keynote speaker is Jamal Woodson, AKA the Give Back King. Jamal is a serial entrepreneur, community leader, and powerhouse visionary behind some of Pittsburgh's most impactful ventures. He's founder of the Slam Basketball, one of Western PA's premier AAU programs, and the head varsity girls basketball coach at Baldwin High School, where he builds champions on and off the court. Jamal is also the general sales manager at WAMO 107.3, Pittsburgh's only urban radio station, where he's been the driving force for 23 years. His deep roots in radio, marketing, and community engagement have elevated countless brands, voices, and local initiatives. He owns LFG Workout, a fitness gym helping people transform physically and mentally, Slam Valet, which is a growing valet trash business serving apartment complexes and residential homes. Jamal also operates a transportation service and flips homes, always looking for ways to create opportunities to elevate his community. Jamal is the host of BT on Yourself podcast, where he interviews young, bold entrepreneurs, underdogs, and highlights comeback stories that inspire others to want to take risks and win big. As head mentor of the CNX mentorship program, he guides high school juniors and seniors towards meaningful careers, college or not. Known around the city as the Give Back King, Jamal is relentless in his mission to uplift those less fortunate. Whether it's through donation, food drives, paying rent for struggling families, or just showing up, he's about action and clearly not applause. One of his most remarkable acts in service was finding a homeless family, securing them a home, and covering their cost of living for an entire year. No credit, just straight up heart. From gym to the streets, the boardroom to the broadcast booth, Jamal's life is all gas, no breaks. His motto, work hard, stay real, and always give back. So this time I want to have our keynote speaker, Jamal Woodson, the Give Back King, share some words.
See, everyone in life has at least one person that they're close with. I've been very fortunate enough to have two people in my life that I'm very close with. My brother Rob and my best friend Mark. I'm gonna share with you 3 stories today that I hope stick with you as you move on. You see, my brother Rob taught me how to ride a bike, he taught me how to fight, he taught me how to protect myself, he taught me everything about life. On my daughter's 3rd birthday, we traveled down Maryland to visit my parents and my family. When we got there, I was greeted by my grandmother, my cousins, my aunts and uncles, and 20 minutes later, the doorbell rang. I was so excited. It was my brother Rob. I had not seen him in 2 years. When I saw him, we sat in the kitchen and talked for 2 straight hours. Completely forgot it was my daughter's birthday. He said he wanted to go to the store. So I said, let's go. Now, what you have to know is it was February. It was winter. It was a bad storm. It probably wasn't the best time for us to go out. But this was my big brother. I wanted to do anything he wanted to do. So we decided to go to the store. We left out and we got to the traffic light. We sat there, we turned left, and about 30 seconds later, the back tires gave out, the car went up in the air, it landed on its hood, it was pitch black, and I was screaming, Rob, Rob, wake up, are you okay? I called my father while the car was upside down to tell him we were in a crazy car accident. My father said, call the police. So we called the police. When they arrived, they announced my brother dead on sight. Now, when I tell you, I had never been through trauma in my life. I had never felt pain ever. I was not prepared to lose one of the 2 of the closest people in life to me. but it's something I had to deal with, and it hit me so hard. Now, I'm not standing up here because I want a pity party. I'm standing up here to tell you the things that happen in life you may not be ready for, but it's what you do next that ultimately defies you. There were weeks I could not get out of bed. I had never felt this pain. My best friend Mark was there for me. I met him in college, and he was my ace. Where you saw Mark, you saw Jamal. Where you saw Jamal, you saw Mark. We were everything to each other. We started throwing parties together. We ran the city of Pittsburgh's nightlife. We made money. He helped me get through this pain. Unfortunately, I felt invincible. I don't know if any of you have ever felt invincible before, like you feel like nothing can happen to you. But we were making so much money every single weekend from getting money off parties that I didn't think anything could happen to me. I was drinking and driving. I was around everyone that smoked weed. There were guns in my life nonstop. One of my good friends left his gun in my car when I was on my way down Maryland, and he called me. He said, "I left my gun in your car." And I was like, "And?" And he said, "Well, can you bring it back?" I said, "Man, I'm going home. I'll give that to you next week." Me not realizing how my life could be turned upside down if anything happened. On my way back from Maryland to Pittsburgh, there was a car going slow. So I pulled up on him because I wanted him to move over. He looked me. I remember looking him in his eyes. He slammed on the brakes. Boom! I hit him. My daughter was in the back seat. She was only 3. The car spun around. We landed in a ditch. I looked back, and my daughter was okay, which I was thankful to God. I got out the car, and the police were there. He said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you mind if I search your car?" I said, now I had no idea I could have said no with no probable cause. And I said, "Sure, officer." He went right to the bag with the gun. He opened it, pulled his gun out, pointed it at me, and said, "Get on the ground." I didn't want anything to happen to my daughter, so I grabbed her and jumped on top of her to make sure he didn't accidentally shoot me. Now, as I laid there with handcuffs on my way to jail, all I could think about was my life was over with. I was facing 3 to 5 years in jail. God got me through it. And again, I don't tell you these stories because I want a pity party. I always want to tell you these because certain things are going to happen in your life, and it's not about what happens, but it's about how you recover from it. One of my now good friends, Divine Johnson, who's graduating here with me tonight. When I first met Divine, he shared with me a story how he got caught with a gun and he didn't think he could ever be anything in life. And it was so great to be able to share the exact same story of what happened to me and see how much he has transformed into someone who didn't think he was gonna go anywhere to one of the most remarkable men I've ever met in my life. So as I share my stories, again, I don't want a pity party. I tell you these things because I want anyone to know if you go through something, know that there's another side of it. One of the last stories I'm gonna share with you is my best friend Mark, who I did everything with, who we went everywhere together. He meant the world to me. And I'm sure some of you have a friend in your life or a relative in your life that you feel you cannot live without. And when Robbie died, Mark just gravitated right to me, and that was my ace, that was my best friend. Until I got that call when he was over at his friend's house. She called and said, "Come on, Jamal, you gotta come over here." I didn't know what was wrong, but He was only about 5 minutes away. I got to his house. When I pulled up, he was having a massive heart attack, and the ambulance had to resuscitate him, and they had the EKG trying to bring back life into him. And I laid there screaming to God, please don't let this happen again. We got to the hospital, and it was like deja vu of the voice of what happened to my brother. When I came, the doctor said, Jamal Woodson, your best friend Mark is dead. Again, I did not know how I was going to come back from this. But it was through the help of friends, and it was through the help of God that I was able to come back and even be stronger than before. One of the things in life that Mark always taught me was, be yourself, forget what anyone thinks. Who cares what they think? And I can tell you, as a young buck growing up, I always cared what everyone said about me. Now, I know y'all think I look crazy in this suit. I see the eyes when I walk through. I'm not an idiot. I try to ignore some of y'all. It's all good. But I wear this suit because I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to live here, and I'm never scared for anyone to think what they think of me. I will never care what anyone says about me. So with each tragedy in my life, I've learned to get through things. And I want to say to the graduating class, there's always going to be trials and tribulations that you'll go through, but you'll always have a way out. And the last thing I'll share with you is I was talking to someone here, and she shared with me a story. Desire James, how she was shot 4 times, and she almost didn't make it. And she was sharing with me how before she was shot, she was never going to school, how she was fighting all the time, how she didn't care about anything. And afterwards, and when she got through, she shared with me it was probably the best thing that's ever happened, because now she's going to school, she cares about life, she's never been in any fights. That is the most remarkable thing that I can share with you. And it just so happened that Divine and Miss James come here, and they're graduating now. So it's so great to see that what happens doesn't define you. Thank you very much.